So this is my 8mm to video conversion setup, and here is the star of the piece, a heavily modified digital SLR camera, and it's mounted so it's directly in front of the projector and the image is being projected right onto the image sensor. As you can see, the camera has no lens. It's also quite heavily modified. Here is the external power supply. Here is the external shutter, and what you can't see inside is that I've removed the mechanical shutter because it was wearing out, and there's a little Atmel chip in there telling the rest of the system that everything's just fine, and you can look at the still pictures for how I did that. The whole thing's under computer control. There's the computer. It's just Linux, and behind there, you can't see, is an Arduino. So basically the thing advances one step at a time. The lamp goes on, the camera clicks, the camera clicks, there we go, and the lamp goes on, off. And that happens 4,800 times for every film. So you can go over the description to see what I went through to get this going, but in summary, this is Mark II. Down there is the remains of Mark I, and that was about 10 years ago, so there's quite a bit gone through this. Alright, so here is the sensor block out of the camera. So there's the lens mount that you see on the outside. Behind it is the mechanical shutter, and you can see right now the curtain is closed, and if I move this lever, it lifts up and exposes the image sensor. Alright, so I've hooked the camera up to my logic analyzer. I'm using the Open Sniffer logic analyzer board, and here are the leads hooked up to the camera. And so what I do is I run the sniffer and then and just hit the shutter. So here's, let's get rid of that light, there we go. There's a summary of what happens. So when the shutter is pressed, I think before any of this happens, the motor's already operated to tense up the spring. Then the system provides power to the whole subsystem. So there's the solenoid power there. And there are two sensors. There's the curtain 1 sensor and the curtain 2 sensor. They immediately start popping up high. And then shortly after that, the solenoid 1 is triggered, and solenoid 2 is triggered. See the slight offset there? I think that's what's determining the shutter speed. So these two solenoids kick off. Curtain 1 takes off. This, I think, is noise, partly because sampling problems I've got with the analyzer, but this I think is real. I think it's the curtain actuating and hitting the other end. And in the meantime, the curtain 2 is taken off, and they both ended around the same time, and right after that the solenoid power was cut off. This is the rotary shaft encoding. So that I think is for refinding the home position on the shaft so it's ready for the next picture. So once the sensors are all down, the solenoids are powered off, then the system power goes off, and presumably at that point the system is processing the picture from the image.